Closing arguments started today in the sex crimes trial of Jack Strain. The former St. Tammany Parish sheriff is accused of molesting underage boys. The alleged crimes happened over a period of more than 2 decades. The trial is expected to be over in the next few days. Good afternoon. I'm Jay Cunningham, and thank you so much for joining us for the Eyewitness News at noon. On Friday, we learned Strain will not be testifying and his attorneys will not be calling any more witnesses. After closing arguments wrap up, the jury will start deliberating. Erica Ferrando has been covering the trial since day one. She now joins us live from the Covington courthouse. Erica, tell us about today.
Jade, closing arguments are underway as we speak. This morning, we heard from Assistant District Attorney Elizabeth Othman, who walked jurors through the 8 counts that Strain faces and the alleged acts that are tied to them. She called Strain the ultimate manipulator who knew how to keep his victims quiet by keeping them employed and offering them things no one else could. She called Strain an expert predator who thought he could get away with it for life. Now, Strain's defense attorney, Billy Gibbons, is wrapping up his closing arguments now. He started his statement by saying, quote, "We need more victims." He argued the government wants to take down Jack Strain and has manufactured this case against him. Defense reminded the jury they only have to have reasonable doubt to find Strain not guilty, and he said you cannot put a man away for life based on stories with holes in them. Jury will have to unanimously decide if they find Jack Strain guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of the 8 counts of sex crimes that he is being accused of. Now, following defense closing arguments, prosecutors can rebuttal since they have to have the burden of proof. That will likely begin soon, and jurors will likely begin deliberating sometime this afternoon. They have to unanimously decide together whether he is guilty or not guilty, so we don't know how long that could take, but the judge did tell them to bring several days worth of clothing just in case they do not have a verdict by today. In Covington, Erica Ferrando, Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you so much, Erica. The Strain trial started 2 weeks ago with jury selection and opening statements, and over the last few days, we heard graphic testimony from Strain's alleged victims. 2 of them were related to Strain. The 5th and final testimony came from a 3rd relative who was not one of the original accusers. He said he came forward after hearing other alleged victims' testimony on TV. Last week, we also heard from Strain's wife, who said she believes her husband is innocent. And again, the trial is expected to wrap up this week. You can get updates on WWLTV.com and on our social media pages.